You can't limit this text to just nomos and Torah, law, Torah, and move on. You simply can't. Because if we limit this text to law, if we limit this text to Torah, nomos, it teaches the promise didn't come through the Torah, right? And that the Torah brings forth no heirs. Well, that contradicts what we've just read about Abraham, which is in the Torah. So there's a problem here that must be addressed. And the problem isn't with the text. The problem is with me and you and our interpretation of it. And we trip up over doctrine and dogma and church discipline. But the reality of it is this. Now, the institutionalized church trips and fumbles all over this position. But there's so much more that is going on here that can only be learnt through the book of the law and the book of the covenant dichotomy. Both are law, both are Torah, but we have to understand the dichotomy to bring forth the revelation. Because of Abraham's faith and belief, Yahweh accredited to him as Zadakah, righteousness. Positional and individual, yes, but also covenantal and corporate, right? He got the whole deal. He got the whole deal, did Abraham. He got positional and individual, but also covenantal and corporate, nationhood, promise. The covenantal and corporate came through the book of the law? No. It came through the book of the covenant to his seed, making him an heir. Making him an heir. So the very words of Paul seem at first glance to contradict the Genesis narrative, do they not? If you just look at it at Torah, 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 law, 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 nomos, nomos, nomos. But no, when you look down deeper, we have to get past that knee-jerk reaction. Because the knee-jerk reaction is, well, let's just do away with the law. Right? There's obviously a conflict going on here. I wasn't into the law anyway. Are you? I'm not into it. It's got nothing to do with Sunday. Right? Let's just do away with it. Right? It's easy. Wrong. It's not easy. It's not easy. It's not that easy. You see, the dichotomy to which Paul is speaking is this. Through the book of the law, no promise was made to Abraham and his seed. No promise. The promise came through pistis, faith, covenantal faith, and fidelity. And fidelity. If they who are of the book of the law were to be heirs, then the faith of Abraham to which the promise was made would be void and useless. I'll repeat that. If they who are of the book of the law were to be heirs, then the promise of faith which was given to Abraham, to which the promise was made, would be void and useless. You don't get to be heirs of the promises given to Abraham through adherence to the book of the law, because the book of the law has got nothing to do with Abraham's faith. It's got everything to do with a corporate people group who lacked faith. There's going to be no inheritance there, but an inheritance of the flesh of man and the cutting of men's flesh and animal flesh being flayed. That's the only flaying that's going on. But we are called to a higher flaying, if you will. Does that make sense? Look at verse 15 of chapter 4. For the law doth work wrath, for where law is not, neither is transgression. For the book of the law does not work wrath, for where there is no book of the law, there is no golden calf transgression, is your interpretation. Right? There would be no need for the book of the law if there was no golden calf transgression. No need whatsoever. would still be in covenantal blessing. The context here is the covenant of Abraham, not a worldwide, broad brushstroke definition of sins charged by the law as we've been taught. Look at Galatians chapter 3, verse 17 to cement this in. Is everybody following so far? Yes. Even rainbow suspenders in the back, are you following? Yes, sir. Hallelujah. Okay, good. Thank you for wearing your Noach suspenders today. They're fabulous. I like them. Rock on, Tommy. Galatians 3:17. And this I say, a covenant confirmed before by Elohim to Messiah, the book of the law that came 430 years after, doth not set aside to make void the promise. Verse 18. For if by the law, the book of the law, be the inheritance, it is no more by promise. But to Abraham through promise did Elohim grant it. Verse 19. Why then the law? Of course, the book of the law. On account of the transgression at the golden calf, it was added till the seed might come. Of course, this is talking about his covenant cutting. This isn't talking about the glandular cutting of the member. There is no glandular limitation here. Now we go on. To which the promise hath been made, having been set in order through messengers, Elohim, in the hand of a mediator. Wow. Galatians 3:17. The promise was received by faith in the book of the Torah realm. Book of the covenant Torah realm is where the promises was received. Apart from and 430 years way before the book of the law came onto the scene. Paul assumes the truth here in Romans of what he's clearly demonstrating here in Galatians 3, verse 17. That is this, that since the book of the law came 430 years after the promise can in no ways be dependent upon the book of the law. That's just common sense, isn't it? Meaning the book of the law is not congruent with faith in Messiah. There, I just said it. Meaning the book of the law is not congruent with faith in Messiah, yet the Torah of Abraham is. And that's where the majority just get all stuck up. Because they'll just try and twist my words and say, see, Matthew just said to do away with the book of the law. They shouldn't even call the ministry Torah to the tribes. We've had that before. But then on the flip side of that, I just said we should be keeping the Torah of Abraham. But the mind can't comprehend it. The mind of man cannot comprehend this. It must be a revelation by the Ruach HaKodesh, because you have the circumcision made not of hands. Because when I communicate this to the people, Yahweh's children, there is no trouble. They're immediately gravitate and grasp hold. Why? Because you're smart? You are smart. No, because you're converted. The Spirit testifies. That is the children of faith. And that is what distinguishes you from religious people. And it is powerful that I look and I see transformed lives, because you are transformed within. That we understand that we are to keep the Torah, but we understand the distinction between covenantal and promise and law and condemnation. And that is the end time message to be delivered to the nations.